How's it? Same old Arsenal USA coming at you. Little brand new flavor in your ear, but first we got to take care of some housekeeping.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
Yes. We've got a full show for you guys tonight. I know my cohorts in crime here have like binders full of notes of things they want to talk about. So right off the bat, let's get into last night's result there, fellas. 3-1. Look, I don't think it was awful. I don't think it was as bad as a lot of folks on Twitter are making it out to be. The thing to keep in mind here is, first of all, it's called perspective. And I think a lot of this fan base needs a little perspective, especially when it comes to a match played against the defending champions. Oh, by the way, 2 years ago, they were the defending champions of Europe. So let's not get our panties all in a wad. And Stan, I believe the saying from your neck of the woods when you were young is throw your toys out the pram. I really don't understand the vitriol, the hatred, the negativity surrounding the loss. Did anybody really think we were going to win 38 matches in the league this year? I certainly didn't. I was hopeful. I want to win every match, but I'm also a bit of a realist. So, Stan, I'm going to throw it over to you, man. I know you got a lot on your mind. So, thoughts on the result, the match last night?
Well, I think perspective is going to play quite a theme throughout tonight's podcast. But looking at this game, from what I can see, there seems to be two schools of thought. There seems to be two sides of the fence. You're either on one side where it's like, you know what, we lost, but we worked hard, we gave everything that we had with what we've got, and we kept it respectable. And there are some positives that you can take away from this. Then there's on the other side of the fence, we were fucking dog shit. And it's as simple as that. That's basically what I've seen. Personally, for myself, I'm in the first camp. Yeah, we lost the game at Anfield. I don't think we've had a result there since, what is it, something like 2012? But
yeah, it's something crazy.
But I can understand where Mikel Arteta was coming from. You know, we with what we've got, we did quite well. It's a little bit like having a two-car race. One car's a Ferrari, the other car's a Volvo. And at the end of the race, you're running around like kicking and screaming because somehow the Volvo didn't win. You know, at least it didn't, at least we didn't break down right at the start and didn't even get to we got to the finish line. And I think that it's funny. I mean, looking at my notes, right? I mean, I probably jinxed it. Where was it that I put it? It was something like 85 minutes. I was like saying Arsenal showing a lot of resistance. And then 87 minutes, I just wrote Jota.
Yeah.
So I jinxed myself. But up until that point, it was enough for me to actually write that down on my pad because I felt that we were holding out fairly well, And you can look at the formation and there's two schools of thought. I mean, a lot of people were saying, even though we were losing, we kept our shape, we kept to our plan, and we kept trying to play the way that we can play. But then again, on the flip side of the coin, is that a good thing? Or should we have perhaps looked at it and said, well, maybe this isn't working. Let's move to a plan B. So it all depends on how you want to look at it. Do you know what I mean? And I can see good arguments in both of those. Because we are a young fledgling team. Mikel Arteta, we're still trying to build a rhythm of play. So I can understand we're not wanting to try and play about too much. But there is a school of thought that says, well, if it ain't working, try something else. And in a way, he did with the substitutions. And I mean, maybe we're going to come onto that later. But something in that game happened that I've been longing to see. And that is a midfield duo, because we only play with two in the midfield, of Ceballos and El Nene. That's something that I've been waiting to see. So when that change happened, there was a big grin on my face. But I'll throw it out to some of the other lads. I'm sure that we're gonna delve more into the mechanics of the match. But that was just my overall thought. I was actually quite pleased with the way that we played. You know, I hate Arsenal losing. I just want to finish. I hate Arsenal losing, but it's even worse when we lose and it's just like no lack of effort. You know, everybody tried. And don't get me wrong, as we go into it, there are some negatives, and I'm sure we'll touch on those later. But there's definitely positives to move on with.
Yeah, I mean, so first 3 goals were scored in a span of 9 minutes. Now, when you score, you hate to concede right away, and I think it was just over a minute. I want to say it was like a minute and 19 seconds or so. I don't know. I know that the announcers announced how long it had been in between the first 2 goals, but the first 3 goals come in the span of 9 minutes, Rohan, and I think right off the bat, that's probably the most disheartening thing, to score and then concede, so quickly after. But yeah, give me your overriding thoughts from the match as a whole yesterday.
See, from my perspective, we are a team in transition, and Liverpool are a complete team. Liverpool have been a complete team because they've spent 5 years on it. We are 6 months into the project. We couldn't expect us to go and dominate Liverpool, and I want to start off by saying that because I have a lot of praise for Arsenal for the way that they played yesterday, but I don't want to be misquoted and to represent in a way that we somehow deserve to win that game. I'm not really saying that, So Liverpool dominated every aspect of the game. They deserve to win, but there were positive signs. We kept them at bay for 85 odd minutes. I mean, that itself is a big deal. This was the best that they played since the start of the season. We've beaten them twice before this. You can't just keep beating Liverpool again and again and not expect a reaction from them. People forget that, right? They sort of have played us in such a short phase that they know what our pattern is and they know how we are going to play. And they are just a well-oiled machine, That being said, just to be in that game, to take the lead, to weather the storm, to take the lead, and there were a lot of people who were like, oh, because Mane had a shot and Alexander-Arnold had a shot which got deflected and hit the post, they could have been 2-0 up before we scored the first goal. But I mean, how does that matter? Mane's shot was straight at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper is there for a reason. He didn't even have to do much. It came and literally hit Leno. And the second one was a block by Bellerin, which got miscued and went onto the post. It could have been a clear block and it could have gone to row Z, right? So ifs and buts, we don't need to deal with that, right? We played well. We stuck to our principles. We were brave. A lot of times I thought that we were naive, and I'll come to individual players and our build up from the back. But what I did like was that they didn't shy away from it. They did the right thing. They did what Arteta was telling them to do. The goal was a brilliant one. The way Xhaka played that ball to Lacazette and the way he laid it out. There was an element of luck in the way it went in, but that was great build-up play. And we did take the lead. We'll go into each one of the goals and maybe some of the goals were avoidable from our part. But in all, just to be in that game, once they scored the first goal, the second goal, the teams from yesteryear's Arsenal teams would have just crumbled. It would have been 3-4, 5-0. We have taken the lead before also at Anfield, right? The last time was Ainsley scoring there early.
Yeah, yep.
And then we got... the scoreline this time was the same as what it was in the third game week of last season. But I have my reaction from last season and we were getting battered there. We tried to play narrow. We gave them the ball outside. They kept piling the ball inside the box. Although it was 3-1, this time it felt like it was much closer. We're a team in transition. You've got to trust the process. Liverpool are a better team than us. But this had positive signs, and we'll talk about the positives and the negatives, all of them.
Yeah. It's you made a lot of good points. We're a team in transition, and Liverpool have been at this now for 5 years. They're a well-oiled machine. And one thing I really want to come back to is this year versus the third match last year, where we felt like, at least it felt like to me, we were trying not to concede 10 last year. We weren't really trying. I think Torreira scored. I don't even remember when he scored. It was in the second half. I know that, and it was late. It was 3-0 when he scored. It just had a different feel yesterday. We were in the match up until Jota scored. We were in the match, and I really thought that between the second goal for Liverpool and Jota's goal, really at the end of the match, I'm not going to say it was even. It wasn't in terms of possession, but we had chances. It wasn't a foregone conclusion that we were going to lose that match. We had our chances, obviously, and we'll get into the Lacazette, the misses, the offside as we move on. But it just had a different feel to me. And folks who are battering Bernd Leno, which I just don't get. I mean, Alex Lacazette, you okay? Yeah, should he have put the chance that was onside home? You get your hopes up when you see kind of a one-on-one against the keeper. And I've said this in other shows, and I swear on a stack of phone books that the three of you have heard me make this statement before. One thing everybody needs to remember is that the other team gets paid to play too. Their job, just like our job, not our job, Liverpool's job, just like Arsenal's job, is to go out and win the game. Liverpool's job isn't to let Arsenal come at them, and then hopefully avoid goals. Our job is not to just sit back like we did in the third game of the season last year and pray to whatever God it is that we happen to pray to, that we don't concede 7. Yesterday was a completely different feel to me from last year's game. I thought we were in it. We had chances. For the most part, I think it was a pretty even match. I not 100%, but I would say 65 to 70% of that match was played on pretty even level terms. Ryan, what say you?
I mean, I won't lie. I definitely just finished watching the game. I won't try to hide that. But, yeah, I mean, so I have, I don't want to say perfect, but my beer of the week that describes how I feel. Ninja versus Unicorn, Pipework Brewery in Chicago, Illinois. And it goes right to what Stan was saying. I think people are just in one camp or another. I don't get it. I legit do not get it. People says we got dominated. People, were saying, oh, we did really well. We should have won. The refs screwed us. Like, it's just very just either you're blaming somebody, you're blaming the team. Arteta doesn't know what he's doing. How is he playing Willie in there? To be fair, I think it's a mix of a bunch of stuff. But I think we played well. I was not upset about the result. I am, I guess, in the minority. I don't think I'm not saying Lacazette shouldn't have scored that. I'm not saying that. I think it was a harder. Both of his chances, I think both chances were a lot harder than people think. I think Alisson's made himself big. I think he played both balls brilliantly. I think the first is Lacazette's first one-on-one with the goalie. He tried chipping it, didn't work. Second time, he tried to hit it with a little more speed, a little more power. That didn't work either. I think the team as a whole showed a lot of courage, showed strength, except for one player, which I'm sure we'll get into. I don't want to name him, and I don't want people to. Well, people will get on me for it. But and by the way, Rohan, it was AMN's ball to Lacazette that put it, not Xhaka, but whatever.
Xhaka basically got the
ball from midfield.
It was Xhaka basically would have had the tertiary assist or the secondary assist.
Oh, the Ozil assist. Okay. Anyways, so
hey, it's a hockey thing.
Yeah. Wow.
I haven't gotten a hockey reference.
Oh, we're not doing a hockey podcast. So, yeah. So I liked the way we played. you want to be positive. We beat them twice recently. You want to say, oh, we're in it, but they won the league for a reason. And Anfield's no joke. The only team to not lose to them last year was Burnley. Yeah, Burnley's not the best, but still, there's a reason why everybody has a tough time. You could say, oh, there's no crowd. We played well. I'm proud. And
61 unbeaten at home now, or 62 unbeaten at home for Liverpool now. I mean, that's just look. We're talking about in Liverpool, and I can't believe the words are going to come out of my mouth because I hate Liverpool. Most folks that watch this show, and I dare say, I'm not Ryan. I know you hate them. I don't stand Rohan. I don't know about you guys. Man United. For me, it's Liverpool. Next on the shit list after the scum is Liverpool for me. And the fact is they're fucking good. Okay? They're just good. They're arguably the best team in Europe still, despite not progressing very far in the Champions League this past season. But I think that's down to Jurgen Klopp really putting the eggs in wanting to win the Premier League basket, especially coming off a year where they had just won Champions League. So I can't say it enough. Liverpool are just really, really good. And does anybody, honest to God, did anybody expect us to go up to Anfield, despite the atmosphere or lack thereof, and get all 3 points? Did anybody expect that? I'll ask all three of you, and I'll ask everybody over in the chat box. Did anyone expect we would go to Anfield and get all 3 points last night? If you tell me you did, I'm going to call you a liar.
I thought it was possible.
But yeah.
I mean, anything is possible.
I would have put money down on the draw if I had to put money down. But I felt maybe because they've looked a little shaky at the back to me, Liverpool. They seem a little shaky for me at the back, and they have let in some goals that I would not expect them to let in. So I thought it could be possible. But it's also because I'm in a place now where I have a lot of belief in the team. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm in a place now where I'm far more optimistic when I'm going into games than I was under the previous regime. But for me, in the game yesterday, I don't know if it was a lapse of concentration or a change of direction, but a lot of the things that we've been doing with the way that this formation plays together seem to go out of the window. For example, Lacazette, instead of coming deep and getting on top of Fabiano, which he was doing in previous games, he obviously seemed to be the furthest man forward now in that particular game, with Willian coming more into the middle. And there seemed to be more of a mix-up at the back as well. The interchanging between Tierney and AMN was well off the boil. There were times when they were both caught upfield at the same time, instead of being almost where they were working telepathically before and knowing when to go and when to give. And I don't know, everybody has a bad day at the office. It happens. Players sometimes have that bad day. But it just seemed to me that the way that we fit this formation, and it's a formation that bypasses the midfield, and we try to play a long ball now if we can up to Aubameyang. That wasn't really working, and the way that we were being pressed so high, it meant that we were kind of we were playing in a kind of a Mourinho style at times, where we had a lot of men back, and we were parking the bus at times. But what do you expect? You have to look at the caliber of players on both teams, and the players that we had were trying to do the best that they could. I saw, for example, Rob Holding taking a lot of flack, and it's apparent to me that out of the defenders that we've got, if we're going to play a flat back four, which hopefully will at some time, he's not going to be one of them, but he still has a place in the squad. I don't think Rob Holding is that terrible that he doesn't warrant a place in the Arsenal squad. He may not be one of my first two picks in a flat back four.
Yeah,
he's not. You know what I mean? He's not dog shit.
That is an absolutely brilliant segue, and I want to get into this comment because Rohan, give me 1 minute here because this just drives me nuts. Don't want to criticize Arteta, but it was a big. Well, I mean, again, ifs and buts. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a wonderful Christmas. And if my aunt had a penis, she'd be my uncle. You know,
Hey, you damn right.
at the end of the day, hindsight's always going to be 2020. What happens if we still lose 3-1 with Gabriel in the match instead of Rob Holding? Where does Gabriel play? Because he's left-footed. Kieran Tierney's left-footed. So are you going to put Gabriel in the middle of the back three between Luis and Tierney? Because now he would have played, it would have been his third match. And now you're going to him saying, a dude that probably barely speaks English, if he speaks it at all, and say, okay, now you're the field general defensively.
Well, no, there is a shout. There is a shout to say that, you know, Luis plays in the middle anyway of a back three, right? That's his position. So whoever's going to be to his left is going to have Mikel Arteta prefers the left foot, and then you have Kieran Tierney playing further out left, right, in that kind of more of a wing back position. So I actually get what Lawrence Emmanuel is saying there, and I would also be inclined to agree with him that I would, unless there's a physical problem, I don't understand why Gabriel was left out either, because it always makes me laugh sometimes when you know, like when you buy a player and you don't see them and people say, well, you got to give him time to settle in. And you're like, well, it's a fucking game of football. Do you know what I mean? It's a fucking game of football at the end of the day. Settle in. What? It's a fucking blades on the grass, an inch fucking higher than the last place he played. And
maybe.
Well, I mean, you know, you look at some other. I mean, Gabriel came in that first game and scored. Didn't look out of place. For me, I would have kept that momentum going.
Yeah, no, I think I have a perspective here, because when we started off with a back four. That's how we started off with it. That's what they said even on the commentary, that they during the warm up they started off with a back four. We started off with a back four. I think the idea was from Arteta that we have to do something different. We can't beat Liverpool the third time by playing the same game. And if you had to pick two center halves, then, you know, you had to, the question was whether you were playing Luis or Gabriel. And between Luis and Gabriel, you had to pick Luis for that release with the long ball, what Van Dijk was doing. And Luis tried that a couple of times as well. So, you know, I think that, again, hindsight is 2020, and saying that Gabriel would have been a better pick, you don't know that. That being said, Rob Holding wasn't great. He wasn't dog shit, but he wasn't great. He was getting caught on the ball. He was dwelling too much. So many times he made a horizontal pass that could have led us to a goal. I mean, led them to a goal against us. I mean, that was just unnecessary. And he is one of the guys who's actually comfortable on the ball. I just didn't understand why he was getting so hurried yesterday. I mean, Luis looked more assured than this one, than Holding, except for the one time when Luis went to foul him for the first goal. So, you know, that's my perspective on the centre backs. You know, I don't think Holding had a very good game, but he wasn't a disgrace either.
So I think I'm the one taking crazy pills, because for me, I did want Gabriel to play. I wanted him actually to play instead of Tierney. I don't think we should have brought him back after a tight groin. Just bring him in. Here you go, Liverpool, because when he first came to Arsenal, he struggled a bit. It took him time to adjust to the league. It took him time to kind of get his footing. And I think especially with groins, I've had not too many. I've had tight groins. I've had to rehab that and stuff. And it's not, you want to trust your acceleration, but you can't. So you kind of like play a little timid, play a little conservative. And that's kind of what he did early on. And he got pushed around. He got elbowed by Mane. I think he got tackled by Mane again a little bit later. I think Tierney didn't play bad, but I just think that we need the reinforcements. And also to the Holding point, I don't want to say I completely disagree with you, but I thought Holding was actually pretty good. I think that his problem was that Mane was just relentless on him. Mane's speed was just too much for him. And I think it caused him to maybe make some passes that he didn't really want to make. And I kind of want to give that, respect to Mane, because he's just too fast. And Holding likes a physical challenge, and Mane's just quick. And I think maybe in that case, I think maybe Maitland-Niles should have helped out. But again, I mean, different because Holding was on the right, Maitland-Niles on the left. I don't think Bellerin was really good defensively tonight. I think Bellerin could have helped him out with Mane too. I just think it's a tough task for someone of Holding's resume, stature, someone we were going to loan out to Newcastle to, hey, guard one of the fastest and most successful strikers or forwards in the Premier League, or probably in Europe. Let's be real here. He's quick. He's decisive. He's good on the ball. I thought defensively he was great. I mean, I guess I see your point about his passing, but again, I just think Mane is just too good, and I think Holding was kind of left out to dry a little bit, and then he got burned for it.
So just a couple of points on that, right? Like first is that Tannor, I felt like this was his worst game for Arsenal, and I'm not saying that he was exceptionally bad, but he was left exposed. He was left exposed. I mean, he was getting run around by Salah so many times. Even for the first goal, Xhaka pointed that he needs to run towards it, and he tried to get tight and got done, right? And he's going to learn. It's okay. I'm not here to single anyone out or call anyone out. But we heap praise on Tannor all the time. It was a bad game. He will learn from this. Next game, he's going to be better. Right? That's on Tannor. And on the Rob Holding point, that is a segue for us building up from the back, right? Like we were just persisting with it so much. And this is a criticism that I have for yesterday, that if you want to do that, you have to be decisive. The way to play out from the back is that before you receive the ball, you should know who the next guy is that you're going to pass to, right? Rob Holding, so many times he didn't know. There was a square ball that he played because there was nothing else available on the edge of our box that they got. They could have scored from that. Leno was slow with his distribution. And again, like I don't want to call out Leno as Leno being the wrong guy for us to keep, but yesterday his distribution was not great. He was thinking about where to pass once he got the ball. And what is the point of passing out so late? You're drawing players in and you're cutting out your angles to make those passes. You could have just done that earlier. And we were piling on pressure on ourselves, and Liverpool were getting a lot of joy out of it.
So here's the thing, right? You make a good point, and playing out from the back. And I've seen a lot of people slaughtering Leno, not yourself, Rohan, but a lot of people like slaughtering Leno for the way that he can't play out at the back. And my argument to that is this: he's not going to be a perfect goalkeeper, and if that's a part of his game that he needs to work on. I remember that when Mikel Arteta first came to us as manager, the big praise is that he was responsible for improving players at Man City. So if we've got players that maybe have one piece that's not so good to their armour, shouldn't we trust that Mikel's got a team behind him that can improve that? Because when we spoke last time and we were here last week, Tannor, you brought up this subject about Leno and that you've been seeing a lot of
Oh, no.
do you remember when you brought it up? Do you remember I was quite visibly shocked? And I said to you, do you remember? I said, really?
Mm-hmm.
I've not seen that.
And then didn't you comment? You may have commented later that, oh, now I see it. You're right. I think you did.
Well, I'm seeing it. I've seen it even more so, especially after the last game, right? And I don't want to tear the arse out of this conversation. I'm not going to get into the who's better, Leno or Martinez thing. But again, it goes right back to what you said at the top of the show about our fans having a little bit of perspective. And for me, some of them just seem so fickle. Because there was a time not so long ago when if you asked us, our supporters, who our player of the season was, people were stuck. I know I was between Aubameyang and Leno. We had one guy at the end of the pitch that was creating all of our goals. And we had the other guy at the other end of the pitch that was keeping them out. And then Martinez came in for a snapshot of 10 to a dozen games. And all of a sudden, Leno was turned into Mark Poom. I mean, when the fuck did that happen? He's gone now. Martinez is gone. He is not coming back. So I really think that we should be getting a little bit more behind Leno, and I don't think he's as bad as what people are saying. And I've seen a couple of comments in the chat box. I mean, I think Leno is a solid keeper. I'm not saying he's perfect, but he is still at an age where certain parts of his game can be improved. And if it's a part of playing it out from the back, then I'm sure that they'll work on that. I will say about playing it out the back, though, that we do fucking overcook it sometimes. There's times where we're playing it out of the back so tight. You know, Xhaka's almost playing on the goal line and the opposition team is just creeping forward and creeping forward. Isn't that the time right there and then to send the ball on? Have someone watching them creep forward and say, right, I'm going to go back. And when they're that far forward and there's hopefully that much space, that's when you kick it long. Vary it. Just vary it a little bit. That performance playing it out from the back against Liverpool, that reminded me under what we used to do under fucking Emery, where we used to play it out of the back every fucking single time, no matter what, instead of every now and again knocking it long. That was a regression.
I think you put it perfectly, Stan, when you're like, he's not the perfect goalkeeper. I hate to break it to you. I mean, I know we probably don't have any fans from other teams or supporters from other teams in here. There are no perfect goalkeepers in the Premier League. Everyone, I mean, Martinez, oh my God, I'm so sorry, everybody. He's not perfect. He's not. He's just not.
Just
he
wait.
He was getting no. He was getting loaned out year after year for a reason. He's not perfect. Leno, not perfect. Ederson, not perfect. Alisson, yeah, he won the Premier League. He won the Champions League. Oh, wait, guess what? Oh, shit, sorry. Not perfect. We're going to hit roadblocks. We're going to have flaws in certain players. No player is perfect. I'll argue with you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Imagine being a Chelsea fan and looking between your sticks, match in and match out last year, because it's going to be Mendy coming up. Did Mendy start today? Who started in goal for Chelsea?
Mendy.
It was Mendy. So imagine being a Chelsea fan last year, and every time you look between the sticks from the beginning of the season, basically through the stoppage, you had to look at that shitbag of a goalkeeper that you just spent 72 million pounds on. I mean, look, this is where I'm at with the negativity of this fan base, and I mean this. You guys got to get over the idea of thinking that every match has to be fucking perfect, because it ain't. I got news for you. If that's what you think, if that's what your expectation is, you're going to be disappointed every single time. These guys aren't perfect. They get paid to. They're very good at what they do, which is why they are where they are. But they're not perfect. Aubameyang has missed sitters. Lacazette had a 1v1 with Alisson. Probably should have scored it. Don't really know what more he could have done other than take a second touch, try to get around Alisson to put that ball in. But then, as Ryan said, here comes Trent Alexander-Arnold. And unless Laka smashes it, Alexander-Arnold might make a save on it.
Yeah, he would have got it. Alisson cut people need to give Alisson credit.
Listen,
Alisson cut the angles off. Alisson did well to get that ball.
As a former, again, not a football goalkeeper, but I was that guy.
I played goalie.
I was a goalie in hockey. My goalie coaches all told me the trick to playing that position, and it's no different. I promise you it's no different, is cutting down angles. It is getting big in front of the shot taker.
Let me ask you all a question then, right? Aubameyang's in the same situation. 8 times out of 10, does he put it away?
No. Nope. Yeah. With the goalie, with Alisson coming out, cutting the angles off, no. Alisson played that perfectly.
He really did. And again, I go back.
For me, I thought Lacazette showed him exactly what he was going to do. He got the ball right. He had a heavy first touch, and he just moved his body and the ball out to the right. All Alisson had to do was go to his left, which was Lacazette's right. Another striker with a little bit more would have done something completely different. He showed him where he was going to take the ball. For me,
he had the exact same chance a few minutes before that, which was offside, and he did the same thing. Like, how did he expect that something was going to be different? You know, and again, I don't want to hound Lacazette out. He had great work rate, but these are the chances that, you know, the reason why we are talking about Lacazette and that he should have scored it is because we expect him to score it, and he was distraught after the game because he knew that he should have scored it. If it was Giroud there, then probably I wouldn't get so surprised. He has better quality. He had one chance. He missed it the first time. The second time, he should have done something different. His touch, maybe he should have taken it around. Maybe his body shape could have been different. I don't know. Maybe try to chip the keeper. If you have to chip it with more power, do that. Like, do something else than just trying to take it in the same angle and smash it in the same way when you know that this guy's already out. And props to Alisson for stepping out. He was a long way out. There was a scope to chip him, but he took his chances. So, again, it's not hounding out Lacazette, but to win these matches against these sort of teams, you have to take these chances. And that was a golden chance. How many times did Liverpool come one-on-one? Liverpool never came one-on-one against our goalkeeper. We managed to get one-on-one with them.
For a number 9, for me, that's a bread and butter shot right there and then. For a number 9, a clinical striker, that's bread and butter. You got to put that away, especially as Rohan said, carbon copy of the one that happened previously. I know it was offside, but give the goalkeeper something different to think about. If anything, make him lean your body like you're going to go the same way and then take it the other way.
So
wow.
I want
to cut you off. So I'm so sorry, Tannor. I completely disagree with both of you. He did not do the same thing both times.
This is good television.
No.
Hey. Screw the presidential debate. This is good television.
No. Okay. So the first chance he got, he tried tripping it.
No. That is another chance that he had. That was inside the box.
I'm talking about these 2 chances. He chipped it, didn't work. So what he did, he parried it, didn't work. And then on top of that, people are like, oh, well, maybe he should have dribbled around the goalie and did something like that. We have been criticizing Lacazette week in and week out for touching the ball too much. He takes so many touches. He seems to shoot it. He dribbles too much. He does this. So now all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, why did he do that? He should have just dribbled around, took extra touches, and scored. Like, come on. We can't be doing it here.
It's an expectation of perfection.
Yeah.
And being the I'm gonna be Chris Wallace tonight with these 3 shitbags instead of the other 2 shitbags that are in Cleveland, Ohio right now. I'm gonna moderate a little bit. You're all making fantastic points here. I think Stan, Rohan, if you said it, I missed it. I apologize, but Stan, I know I heard you say it. If Lacazette in that situation takes one more touch to the right, he may open himself up for a cleaner shot. Where he was relative to Alex.
If he missed, we would have yelled at him. We would have yelled at him. Why did he take an extra touch? Why is he taking too many touches? So come on.
But Ryan, you made a good point with what you just said, which is it's you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't right now. If you're an Arsenal player, you just really can't win with this fan base because and I don't mean you guys in particular. You really just can't win because like you say, if he takes that extra touch, moves around to Alisson's right, but then misses the goal altogether. Or Alexander-Arnold comes in and makes a save off the line. Whatever the case may have been, we're slating him for he should have just smashed it first time. Whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, I am going to choose to give Alisson credit for doing his job better than what Lacazette did his. In that particular instance,
it wasn't Martinez making that save. I apologize.
Well, look. At the end of the day, that the goal key, and again, full credit to Alisson. I'm going to look at it again as Liverpool are a great team. We are watching right now. We are in the midst right now, and this is where I want to deal with rational, reasonable sports fans, and I think you guys are. And I say sports because recognize greatness when you see it, no matter how much you might hate it. Recognize greatness when you see it because you might not ever see something like this again. I wasn't fortunate enough because I live in America to be able to watch the Invincibles. It just wasn't broadcast over here the way football is now. Had I been able to see that live in the moment, that's greatness. That's something that may never, ever happen again. And even a scum supporter would you may not want to admit it, but appreciate what you're watching. And with Liverpool, as much as I hate that team, and I really do, They're not far below the scum in terms of my level of hatred. They're good, and they do their jobs well. So Lacazette coulda, shoulda, woulda, ifs and buts, all this and that. At the end of the day, I don't think we played like shit, and I don't think any of you guys think we overall played like a bag of shit. We played well. We were in the match. We were competitive with them. We had a chance up until the Jota goal. I want to move on. I feel like we could dissect this goal and go round and round all night. Let's go back to the goal that Lacazette actually did score in the first half. And Rohan, I'm going to hand it over to you because because you were the one that made the point earlier. I want you to start with Granit Xhaka.
So we started playing out from the back and, pulled them, sucked them in. Trent Alexander-Arnold, like he does, just bombed forward. There was a massive hole on their right-hand side, our left. Xhaka played a great ball, actually, which was a piercing ball. Lacazette coming in. That ball was key to this move because he played it, and I'm not saying that Xhaka was great throughout the game. Xhaka, he had a role to play in this game. I think the game plan was, I'll get back to this goal, but the game plan from my perspective was, and I saw people saying, oh, why hasn't Ceballos started this game from the start, when he had such a big impact? But the plan was for us to keep control or sort of keep them at bay for 60 minutes, 65 minutes, and then creativity to come in. Because if Ceballos started doing the same things, dropping into the hole and playing through balls, it was just El Nani in the back. Then we would have been absolutely exposed. So Xhaka had that role. So Xhaka played that ball to Lacazette. Lacazette dropping deep. On the stretch, he played the ball out to AMN. AMN at that point, I thought, should have looked back and he should have sort of relayed it for Aubameyang. That's what I thought he would do. He tried to play the ball in. Virgil van Dijk stuck his leg out, didn't get the ball. Robertson got confused. The ball bounced over to Lacazette. Lacazette, in this chance also, it wasn't a perfect shot. And that's the reason why it went in, actually. In my opinion, it went in because it looped over Alisson. Yeah. If he would have
he almost completely whiffed on it, quite frankly.
If he had a clean shot on it, it probably would have just hit Alisson, because it would have gone downwards, but it went up, and we were lucky to get that goal in the instance that we had that Robertson miscued the ball and Lacazette miscued again his shot, but it went in. But the build-up play was great, and that's the positive that we went to Anfield and we created a goal like that. We're proud of that.
I think that Lacazette may have been a little bit disheartened, and I've seen a lot of people say, well, it was a fucking, the contact on it. How many fucking scruffy goals has Ian Wright scored? How many goals has he bundled over the line? Alan Smith bundling the goal over. They all fucking count, right? And as Rohan quite rightly pointed out, that pass that he done to set up AMN running, that's what made the goal. And you have to give Lacazette credit for that. And I'm a little bit out. I'm not sure I am with Lacazette at the moment because as scruffy as that goal may have been and the chances that he may have missed in the game, which I do think are bread and butter and he could have done better with, he still scored 3 and 3 so far. Did you know what I'm saying? And so on that basis, how do you leave him out? You can't. He has a place at the moment ahead of Eddie. 3 and 3, right?
Yeah. And again,
if he is low confidence, the worst thing you can do now is
drop him.
You can maybe rest him for the Liverpool game on Thursday because it's a Carabao Cup game. You're telling him, well, I want to give some youngsters their legs a bit of a stretch. But you come back to the Premier League, you have to play Lacazette again.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because you're spot on. Because if you drop him for Sheffield, you're shooting his confidence in the foot now. I don't think he's gonna. He might be on the bench. It'll be the same situation as it was last week at Leicester. I don't think he's gonna start. I think he'll be on the bench. Eddie's gonna get to start. But it's 3-3, and he should have taken the chances. He should have taken the chances. Stan, you're right. For a number 9, this is bread and butter. I'm going to completely quote you on that. But again, they're not perfect. They're going to miss sometimes. Yep. And unfortunately, he missed yesterday. It sucks. But he's not a stiff. I'm not taking that chance. I don't think any of the 3 of you are going to take that chance. I'll tell you what I'm going to take if I'm in that moment on the field, a giant shit all down my leg because I'm on the pitch at Anfield with Allison bearing down on me. That's what I'm going to do. So at least he got the shot away. Perspective. Ryan, go ahead. What were you going to say? I'm trying to keep things light. I feel like we're getting pretty fired up here tonight, boys.
I listen.
Really? We're hiding to nothing tonight, hombre.
Wait. What's that, Stan?
I said, really? I said, well, you're in a fucking hiding to nothing tonight, hombre. I think me and Ryan have more things to say.
Yeah.
This is good. By the way, everybody that's watching live right now, all 40 of you in the chat box, go get your popcorn, go get your drinks, fill up that Yeti with some ice and beer and settle in. Because we got about another hour and 15 minutes of this.
Yeah,
it's going to go 2 hours.
Minimum. Anyway, so what is Lacazette's job? His job is to score goals. He has scored a goal in every 3 for 3. You guys said 3 for 3. So it's funny because no, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not making a baseball reference. Yeah. So it's Lacazette scores. He does what he does. So where's our captain Aubameyang? I'm not calling that Aubameyang. I listen. I love Aubameyang. He's our captain for a reason. No, actually, I lied. I don't think he should be a captain. But he was missing in our game today. For me today because I watched the game. I watched the game like 20 minutes.
He was missing in the last game as well.
Yeah. And I don't know. I don't want to get into this whole captain thing because to me, a captain shouldn't go missing in games. Which he's a low touch player. It is what it is. But point is Lacazette scored. He scores a goal. Yeah. Do you want him to score 2 goals, 3 goals? Come on, please. I want everybody in the chat to do me a favor. Look up Messi and Ronaldo's, shot conversion, goal percent, whatever. I don't know what the fuck this stat is. Who cares? I can guarantee you, it's not 100%. It just isn't. I promise you, it's not 100%. But yeah. So point is, I think Lacazette's goals have been a little. I don't want to say. I mean, clumsy is a really bad word to use, but fortunate. His goals have been very fortunate. Not brilliant, not like, what's what you point to. We are the start of yeah, exactly. Thank you, Stan. But yeah, so
yeah, agree.
I mean, what more do you want from him? Like everyone's like, oh, play Aubameyang through the middle, Aubameyang scored 22 goals last season on the left. We have options. We have ways to score. And I think it's funny.
Real Giannis calling you out.
Guess what? That's not 100%. So,
and he's not Giannis as well.
yeah. Anyways, so point being is that I don't even remember my point. Oh, so it's so I'm kind of like going back and forth, but so everyone was harping about Gabriel's got to start. To me, my biggest omission and my biggest gripe with the lineup, I think Pepe should have started over Willian.
Oh God!
I think Willian was terrible. Yeah. Oh, I'm ready, Rohan. I'm ready. I thought Willian was terrible. I think Pepe off score against Liverpool. Liverpool play a high line. That is Pepe's game. He thrives off teams playing high lines. And not to mention, I mean, we didn't have that many free kicks, but obviously hindsight 2020. You play Pepe, he has those free kicks in him. He has those chances to make plays out of nothing. And like I said, Liverpool play a high line. This game suited him so bad. He should have started. William was shit. I think to me that's my biggest gripe with the starting 11. But I think also that goes to
I want to go back a little further, and I want to touch on one thing. Rowan and Stan, you guys both have your hands up, so do me a favor. Rowan, go first. Make your point. And I don't mean to be an asshole, but make it quick.
Yeah, I would have agreed with Ryan's point if Pepe had not played. But Pepe played yesterday, and what account did he give for himself that he should have started that game?
Oh,
He was shit. Since he came in, he was shit. And talking about his free kicks, he couldn't get his corners of the first man twice. See, I will tell you what. Two players. There were a lot of players. I have it written here, and I have written poor. Okay, who all were poor in this game? Leno poor, Tierney poor, Holding poor, AMN poor, Bellerin poor, Pepe poor. Right? But two of these guys needed to. 1 second. Two of these guys needed to get their match day fees fined. That is going to be Pepe and Bellerin.
Yes.
2 foul throws.
Yes, I know.
And two corners, same thing on the first man. What the hell is what?
To be fair, Pepe's corners have never been great.
You stole my thunder, man, big time. You stole my thunder out big time.
Listen, you're all right. I don't want to curse. Your list.
All right.
Well, yeah, go.
All right. We're
not bad. So we'll go.
We're gonna move on here. We're gonna continue with this conversation. But I have another couple of things that I want to touch on that I'm going to reel us back in a little bit because I feel like we're getting a little fired up here, a little heated, and I think I'm going to bring up something that we're all pretty much going to be in agreement on. But first, an obscene profit timeout.
For Gooners everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. For match highlights, interviews, and the best Arsenal videos and podcasts. Download the free Gunners app now from the App Store and Google Play.
And I am going to take this opportunity so that I don't forget while it's fresh in the old noggin here. We have also partnered with Manscaped. And I keep bringing up your crime scene, fellas. And I'm telling you, these guys are going to work wonders for your area down under. If Max is watching the show, that's my really bad Australian accent. But
terrible.
It was really bad. He got a nice set of smooth criminals down under. So go to Manscaped. Enter the code same old, all one word, at checkout. You're going to get 20% off your order, plus free shipping. And I'm looking for the banner right now so you guys can check it out at the bottom of the screen. There it is scrolling for you. There's the discount code. Same old, 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping. I promise you, your missus is going to absolutely love it. If
you know what, Tannor? Do you know who could do with that manscaping fucking deal? The Arsenal luchador. Did you not see that video of him in the fucking shower?
Yeah, if I could ever get this guy on the show, I could
hamster underneath his armpit. That needs to go. That needs to go. But
hang on. So I'm wearing, by the way, I'm going to give a shout out to Gav over at the She War shop. My Highbury London t-shirt. I absolutely love this. Rohan is sporting Under Armour, so a little free advertising for those folks. Ryan's in all black. He's like Johnny Cash tonight. He doesn't even know who Johnny Cash is.
Show some love, boys, with the hair.
Did you are you really like pulling your chest? Settle down.
He's like Ryan Giggs.
It's a V-neck.
Take your shirt off and start swinging it around your head.
No, don't.
All right, sorry.
I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking mute you. But Stan, I mean, what? Just plain blue T-shirt here, or what's the skinny here tonight?
I actually received a parcel during the week, and I've got a T-shirt.
What?
Oh, hang on.
My man, the luchador, sent this to me from Tijuana. You know what I'm saying? Tijuana, he sent this to me. So if you're watching, thanks. But apparently he's got I think he's got like a tag match in El Paso tonight. I think he said earlier. So I don't think you'll be seeing him.
Arriba, brother.
Yeah, Arriba, my brother.
Oh, I forgot. So I told I retweeted the Luchador's tweet because he fucking made me, or else he'd give me a sharpshooter. But I said I would say what shampoo he uses, and surprisingly enough, He's a Head and Shoulders guy.
Really?
Who would have thought? Head and Shoulders.
But there you go.
Great for your scalp. Great for your scalp.
By the way, that's a tremendous commercial with Troy Polamalu and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I eat 100% of my green beans. 100% don't like them. 100% don't care.
And to be fair, there was someone in the chat the other week that thought that the luchador is actually Troy Polamalu. Funny enough, but he's an American football player. Safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, used to be an American. Yeah.
But I could safely say the luchador is not Troy Polamalu. So
I mean, you gotta look. There's no hair underneath. You gotta see that the Troy Polamalu's hair isn't underneath that mask.
Right? Do you know who he is, Ryan?
The luchador?
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but I know who he isn't. Let me just put it.
You don't know who. Ryan, you know what he is.
Ryan, he's staring at you from your closet.
Anyway, moving on.
Real quick, Arsenal Luchador. If you happen to see this show, open invitation, man. Open invitation. I'd love to have you on the show.
I want to wrestle him. I got to be honest. I think I'd take him.
You can't handle that shit.
Risky.
No, you definitely couldn't handle it, man. Nah. Yeah. All right. So moving on. Lawrence Emanuel asked a question, and I'm going to put it up here because this is exactly where I was going. So Craig Pawson's performance from last night. So let's start. let's start. I mean, Sadio Mane's elbow. The only thing he didn't do was come off the top rope like the Macho Man Randy Savage,
or like the luchador.
Like the luchador would have been proud of that shit.
This is a red card offense. Every 10 out of 10 times it's a red card offense. And I don't know. I have no idea. I'm at a total and complete utter loss. VAR didn't even review it. And I mean, did he get a? Oh, he did get a card. He got a yellow. He did get a yellow. This is a red. This isn't. I mean, it would be different if he were running for the ball and he'd have stuck his hand out like to try to impede Kieran Tierney. This is an elbow, and it's fucking blatant.
Yeah, but the one that he done on Bellerin as well. The one on Bellerin was even, he should have had a red. I mean, did you not see the one he done on Bellerin as well?
I don't remember it.
The tackle
really early on in the game. It was something like the first 5 minutes or so. He went straight in on Bellerin.
So I don't want to say that we would have won the game, but for the refereeing, or the refereeing, decided that Liverpool were dominating. But the game could have been different if Mane was sent off with 10 men. Liverpool, and the way that we were playing, with the confidence that we played, with their press not being as effective, it could have been a big one. A big opportunity for us. I just want to point out also that, maybe he didn't get a red card because it was in the second minute. If it was in the 60th minute, he would have got a red card. But that's not an excuse, right? So he didn't get that. But I saw that this was a pattern through the game, right? Like Virgil van Dijk, he's a monster, right? Like I'm sure, the only person who can beat him is the luchador, right? Like none of us can beat him in a fight, right? But you touch that guy on the pitch and he goes down like a pile of a sack of potatoes, right? Like that's how he goes down. And every time he gets a foul, but Fabinho looks at Aubameyang, runs into Aubameyang, clatters him, and gets nothing. We don't even get a foul for that.
Not even 2 minutes later, in that sequence, as we lost the ball, I don't even know who it was, but Bellerin got a card for basically doing the same thing that Fabinho did to Aubameyang probably 40 seconds prior to that. Sam, I don't disagree with you on all of it. The only thing I disagree with is the view that Arsenal fans have that it's only us is just wrong. All teams get poor decisions. 110% not true. Man United don't get poor decisions. In fact, they get every fucking decision under the sun. Go for them. They scored. They were awarded a penalty after time expired. Literally, this is the league going to Man United and saying right now, do me a favor and trot somebody out on the pitch, kick the ball into the net, and we're going to count it for your next match. utter bullshit. And Liverpool aren't much better. And yeah, these two clubs, in my opinion, just seem to get call after call after call.
No, but this is why
I agree with most of it.
This is why I started off with the fact that it's not because of the refereeing that they dominated the game, in the same way that it wasn't because of the refereeing that we won the FA Cup game. But the refereeing was shambolic. That's a fact. It's just facts.
So to answer Lawrence's question, in my opinion, in Rowan's opinion, I think Ryan just said, shambolic, utterly shambolic, Craig. And if you haven't seen it yet, real quick, if you haven't seen it, Lacazette's miss, the one where he was onside. If you haven't seen the video, go watch Craig Pawson's reaction to Lacazette missing.
Yeah, that was
funny.
Okay, I did see that. All right, so quickly, Sam, I'm so happy you brought that up. I think your comment is great, and it shows how they damn right they do. It just shows how inconsistent. Like, yeah, we know all referees are bad; they make bad decisions. But wait a minute. If only there was something that could overturn refs' decisions. If only there was something that could look at their decisions and be like, hey, it's the call. I mean, I don't I feel like, listen, we're four friends, we can kind of make something up. Maybe you call it like a video replay, maybe VAR. I don't know. But I mean, that just proves how it really just comes down to the inconsistencies. Listen, I hate the scum just as much as everybody else. Well, maybe not, because I hate Man U more. I'm sorry, everybody. But, that play that they did, I fucking laughed. It was unfortunate if you're a fan of theirs, but it was hilarious. And then, you see Jota's handball. And, it just makes you think. And then, again, the Fabinho on Aubameyang, and then Bellerin.
VAR at the ground and actually have VAR available.
Who was VAR? Was it Mariner? Was the VAR? I don't even know.
Was it available for that match? Because I never saw it used.
It might not have been. But there you go, Stan.
But what I'm saying is, right, it's like, if you've got VAR, why is it at some fucking matches, not in some other matches? Why is it in this tournament, not in tournament? You've either fucking got VAR or we ain't. You can't. Do you know what I'm getting at? And I agree with you. I agree with you, Ryan, because it's like, where the fuck were the VAR shouts in that fucking game? At least have a look, And I know I don't want to go into the whole VAR thing, because we start talking that fucking screen at the side of the pitch, and then referees fucking not taking any accountability and all that bollocks. I'm sick of it.
Listen, I won't say we would have won the game if the ref made half of the right calls. But
the dynamic, it's as simple as this. The dynamic changes.
It would have been a different game. Not that we'd have won, not that we'd have lost. It would have been a different game. And I just, the only thing I want is, right or wrong, I want consistency. That's all I want. If that Tottenham handball's a handball,
agree, man.
I just want, even if it's the wrong consistency, I don't care. Consistency is consistency. Sam, we've talked. I think I've talked to this multiple times on different platforms, different podcasts. Sam, I could not agree more.
You can't have a current referee reffing a game 1 week. Next week he's sat up in the VAR room, and then it's like, what I'm getting at. He calls somebody out on the pitch. The following week, that ref is now fucking watching him. You know what I mean? It starts becoming about scoring points and all. I don't want to call one of my fucking peers out, even though, I might be wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Have them fucking independent. I totally agree with Sam, and we've said it on here and other places. Yeah.
It has to be completely independent, and not to make another hockey reference, but I've said it before. The war room in Toronto with the
conflict of interest.
It's a massive conflict of interest. That's the best. That's a great way to put it. Have a completely independent panel who aren't on-field officials watching in London, in Manchester.
Can you imagine it down the job centre where you see the listing? Wanted, VAR official. Requirement, must be a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, I forgot. My mum watches this. I do apologise. I'm not supposed to say the C word, am I? I forgot. I do apologise for everybody watching.
Just tell them to see you next Tuesday. That's fine. See you next Tuesday.
Yeah. See you next Tuesday. And we will see you next Tuesday.
I should have said.
Hey, that was nice. That was nice, Tannor. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Like that's what I'm here for, boys. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, the referee was absolutely shambolic. There was one comment up here, Ahmad. I basically mentioned this right off the top, Ahmad, and I think we're all in agreement here. We're just not there yet. We're not in the same era as Liverpool. It is a work in progress. We are getting there. And as I said before,
I actually do disagree with Ahmad a little bit because I don't think we would have won or draw if we were more clinical in that. I mean, I guess if you look at the chances technically, midfield we weren't better. Defense, I shouldn't say that. I think defensively we weren't actually that bad. But midfield, we're starting a guy who was out on loan the entire year in Turkey. So obviously we're lacking midfielders. Although I gotta say, I thought he was actually very good, and I know I'm getting a lot of flack because I spoke to my Ars bros who did not think he was good. And I actually thought he was very good.
You can't say that. I spoke to my arse bros and not tell us more. Who are these people? What's going on?
Well, yeah, funny enough you say that. I don't want to plug.
Again, look, what you do in your spare time, that's your business. I shouldn't.
But the Arse Bros, we're having our monthly podcast tomorrow. I gotta get up at 7 a.m. So I'm probably just gonna drink all night and just
wing it.
So if you guys want to tune in to Ars Bros, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're gonna be
What time is it for me?
What's
4? What time is it on for me?
4 a.m. So you might want to stay up with me.
4 a.m. today.
Well, tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's well, yeah.
I'm gonna set my alarm. I'm gonna creep out of bed and I'm gonna watch it.
It's gonna get weird.
No, Stan, don't set your alarm. Just power straight through. Just drink all night. Let's go.
Hour.
Them days are gone, man.
Rohan, you're the only one exempt from this. You have some real work to do tomorrow. You're the only one exempt from this. So you got to be a dad at some point. I know that. So you get out of this one without having to drink all night. But screw it. Let's just drink all night, stay up and watch the Ars Bros in the morning. I like it.
Go on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What are we talking?
I was going to say. I mean, a bit of a segue, a little bit. I just think it's obvious that much of our problems are coming because of a lack of a midfield, and everybody at the moment. I mean, 8 months ago, everybody was calling for Upamecano. That was the name, me included, because I really like that guy. And now it switched to Thomas Partey. Now it's Aouar. And you know what? I don't get it. I don't understand where all of this clamour has suddenly erupted from for this man.
Yeah. And
I'm aware of who he is. I don't watch a lot of Lyon games. I'm not going to lie to you, but I mean, where has all of this clamour come from for a while? And I wanted to talk to you guys and say, if you can only have one out of Partey and Aouar, let's play this game and play it in the chat box as well. Who would you honestly take and for what reasons? How do you think one makes us better than the other? Because for me, just to get my 2 cents in before I hand it over, I think that a player like Thomas Partey, I think that if we were to bring him in now, he improves us immediately. Right now, immediately. I think for someone like Hossam Aouar, I think he improves us, but a little bit more in the long term. And I was listening to the Gooner Talk, and Tom Canton. He has a guy on there, and if you don't listen to the Gooner Talk, subscribe. It's a very good channel, by the way. He has a guy on there from France that he goes over to, who watches a lot of French football. His name's Jeremy. I can't remember his surname. It might be Smith, but he's a doppelganger for the Formula One driver Rubens Barrichello. But that's another thing. He just looks like that to me. But he was saying about Aouar that he's the kind of guy that if his team aren't having a bad game, he will go down to that level. He's not the guy that's going to drag you up and bring the rest of the teammates along with him. And I took that particular.
Sounds like somebody familiar that's currently on the Arsenal squad earning.
Exactly. As soon as I heard that, I thought, is that what we really need right now? I know that you're big on the war, Tannor. I'm not sure how the others are, but I just wondered how you guys think about if you could only have one and why. I just think that for me, Partey, he fills in a space that we've had empty for some time now. I don't think that we've really recovered after Vieira / Gilberto. Gilberto sort of came in after Vieira. And then after that, when it came to that kind of part of the pitch, we went to sort of more technical, smaller people. We really changed our style of who we were putting in there. We started looking at people like Nasri, for example. You know, we've had a couple of stopgaps like Dong and Coquelin, but we've never had anyone dedicated to that position. So what do you guys think?
You guys want to? I'm actually in the boat. I would prefer Houssam Aouar over Thomas Partey, and I actually said this. It might have been in our first show that I said it was our first or second show that I said I would rather have Aouar than Thomas Partey, and I'll tell you why. I look at this squad and I say to myself, what Arteta ultimately wants to do is play a 4-3-3. And he wants a creative attacking midfielder who can break down lines, who can be that locksmith and feed passes in to Aubameyang making a run, to Eddie making a run, to maybe Willian or Pepe, Reece Nelson. The only guy that we have in the squad right now who can do that doesn't get a shirt. He's as healthy as the day is long, and he doesn't get a shirt. You know who I'm talking about. But that's a fact. So when I look at what Thomas Partey does, I'm not saying that we have somebody that does it as well, but we have someone in that role. We have no one in the role of Houssam Aouar right now. It would be at this point, it would be Danny Ceballos playing that role. At first, I thought it would be Granit Xhaka, and that going back to where Granit. See, hang on. I said he's not as good as Thomas Partey. Everybody think no, we don't have a player in that role. Yes, we do. He's not as good as Thomas Partey, but we have that player. Admit that we have that player, no matter how much you hate him, and it should have been Granit Xhaka. Thomas Partey is better than Granit Xhaka. We'll not argue that point, but we have that player. Danny Ceballos can do it too. Not as good as Thomas Partey, but they can both do it. We have players in that role. We do not have a player that's going to get a shirt match in and match out in the role of Houssam Aouar. That is the only reason that I am in favor of Houssam Aouar over Thomas Partey right now. Now, you want to get into what it is that I like about Aouar as opposed to someone else in that role. This is a guy that really came on during the restart in Champions League. What? You're making all kinds of emotions and shit up there. So I know I'm the only guy that thinks that wants Houssam Aouar. I know that.
Time out. What are you like? Who said I didn't say that?
One or the other.
Yeah,
I'm the only guy that's taking Aouar over Partey.
Are you sure?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that out of interest, but go on.
Yeah, I don't. Are you telling me that I want Partey, Tanner?
I thought because I know we talked about this before. Yeah, I could have sworn the three of you all said Partey. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but Ryan's fickle, you know that he'll flip-flop around.
Well, yeah. I mean, listen. Last night he wanted to pitch for some reason with me, and I'm like, dude, you've never pitched with me in your life. You've always
your
caught.
Birthday was over the weekend. I was trying to.
Right. He's a player. I'm not a catcher. Fair enough. All right. I'm glad we finally cleared that shit up. Okay.
Yeah. So to be fair, if you guys all rewatch the first podcast, which don't do it because that was horrible. I flip-flopped maybe like 6 or 7 times. Like I was like, oh, Partey, then Aouar, then Partey. And Stan was like, what the? I don't remember. Stan was like, what are you talking about? Even Stan. I was like, all right, well, fair enough. So, and I'm gonna do the same fucking thing. So it's kind of funny. But so if we're building for now, you go Partey. If we're building for the future, you go Aouar. And to me, we're a team that's building for the future. We're a team in progress. And to me, Partey's someone that's like, all right, we're gonna bring him in. We're gonna win. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna maybe not win the Premier League or win Champions League, but we're gonna make a good shot at it. And I think Aouar is someone that we bring in slowly but surely, build him up, do his thing. He's 22 years old, and I got shout out to Star McStarter, a terrible name. I was disagreeing with you on almost every point you were making, but I agree with you on that point. And I think Aouar has resale value. So, if he doesn't work out, if we want to get rid of him, we could sell him. Someone like Partey, it has no resale value. Someone like him, we're probably his last big team. So I think that it's just a matter of which way are we going to go, Mike, shout out to Mike. Mike Hurts. I'm going to announce this on the podcast right now. I'm like, I want to say 92 to 95% sure that Mike Hurts is my spirit animal. But we'll say that for another podcast.
Sorry for Mike Hurts.
So it's a matter of what you want. You want to do things now, or you want to kind of like build slowly but surely. To be honest, I think we're going to get both. If we sell, which there's rumors that we're selling Mustafi and Kolasinac, which we might get to later. But so I think we could use obviously both. But I think Aouar is the more down the line target that we want, and Partey's more now. And what do you want? And let me make the point. Yeah, we have Granit Xhaka. I stand by this. Granit Xhaka was the worst player on the pitch for us against Liverpool. And sorry, Rohan, you can't change my mind. Stan, you look good. Can't change my mind. Tannor, maybe you can change my mind. Maybe if you let me receive a little. He was terrible. I don't like when a player's dribbling with the ball, they throw their arms out and just look for fouls. He is our
Ryan.
Yeah, go. Come on. Give it back. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. He was the worst player on the field for us. Yeah. That's what I do.
That's what Xhaka says about your comment.
Good, because he's fucking terrible and he needs to leave. But anyways.
Okay, so here's my take on our Partey thing, right? Like now, if I were to pick, I would pick Partey. First of all, because the player that we had in specialist in that position, Torreira, is not getting played. He's getting sold. Fabrizio Romano already tweeted out that he's in talks with Atletico for a move there, so he's going to go. Hopefully we get Partey in exchange, What we don't have, so Xhaka, I don't think ever was that defensive midfield player, Now, I'm not saying that Partey is a complete defensive midfield player, but he has the physicality, and we've seen him do it against Liverpool in the Champions League last season, where he dominated that midfield. What we didn't have was control of that midfield. But equally, what was lacking yesterday was a runner with the ball. We got a runner with the ball when Dani Ceballos came on, and that's when we looked more creative. That is what Aouar can probably do even better. So, Tannor, I don't completely agree with the fact that we don't have that creative player, because that creative player is probably Dani Ceballos. When he came in, he had through balls.
That's what he was supposed to be.
Yeah, and he came in and he had those. He put in those through balls to put Lacazette in. So there was creativity there. Once he got on, Xhaka was there to solidify and to stay with El Neni, which he did for the most part. He's not the best player in the world. We all know that. So, I wasn't expecting him to, control that midfield, but we didn't have a chance with the physicality that we had with El Neni, who was just doing his job, keeping it tidy, but not doing anything exceptional. So you're anyways half a man down in that case, because what he's going to do is he's going to get the ball and then he's going to toe poke it to the next guy. So there's no running with the ball. That is what was lacking. So right now, what we need, essentially we need both. And for some reason, I feel like we can get both. It's 6 days now that are left. This was going to be a defining transfer window for us. The most important transfer window in my lifetime of being an Arsenal supporter. And I think that we can go and get them. There's a deal being done with Atletico for Torreira, so hopefully we get both of them, and then we can build, because midfield now is lacking. We've addressed our defense to a certain extent. In the long term, I think Saliba and Gabriel will be our mainstays. So that part is already taken care of. Midfield is a whole, and we will see this week in, week out when the season progresses. It's going to be a long season if we don't get these players. But right now, if I had a choice, if I had to pick only one, I think it would be Partey, because that defensive stability, that control of midfield, that physicality is what we are lacking right now. Creativity, probably Ceballos can provide to us. Maybe Saka comes in and he can provide to us. Willian could move into the middle and Pepe can go out wide. He can provide to us. There are options for creativity, but there's no option for physicality and dominance in the midfield. That is why we need Partey.
So let me ask you this then. We're kind of drawn. It's like 50-50. Two of us would prefer Partey. Two of us would prefer our. But let's say all of our wishes came true and we got both of them. And then we move to a formation which incorporates 4 at the back and 3 in the midfield. Who was your 3 in midfield? So if you've got Partey, our, who's going to be the third person?
That's a good question.
I would go with, and I know that Ryan, I'm like already like he's gonna jump on me from above, but I would go with Xhaka.
Oh my God!
Okay, so Ryan's going with Xhaka.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to throw one in there?
I'm gonna second it. I'm going with Granit Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka. Ryan.
I think I feel like Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Like I'm in an insane asylum. I'm the only one that's reasonable here. It's tough, but
no. You're Jack Nicholson in The Shining. You're going.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah.
See, it's tough because I think Saka is being molded. Saka, not.
We're talking this year, right, Stan? That your question is for this season?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. Okay. I'm just asking you, right? Who is the?
That's going to change my aunt. That's going to change my aunt.
Of course. See,
even this season. Yeah, okay, this season.
It has to be this season, right? Like, see, I have always maintained that Xhaka is not the perfect player, and he's not the player that we deserve there, or that should ideally be playing there. But he is out of all of these players because Dani Ceballos can't play. I don't know if he has that discipline, or if he has enough of that range to play there. If he shows that he has enough, I'd have Dani Ceballos in there. But I somehow feel that Xhaka has played more of a role in there, and that's why I would play it there. But that doesn't mean that we don't need to replace Xhaka. We need to have somebody else.
I never thought I would ever say this, right? But I would like to hear what Ryan was just saying a moment ago. He was saying something that Ryan, what you were saying? Go on.
Okay, so it's tough because there's so many options. So, like, based on who we have right now, if we get Partey and Aouar, in an ideal world, I would actually play a diamond 4 in midfield, and I would have Aouar at the top, Partey at the bottom, Saka on the left, Ayman on the right. Now, I love Ceballos. I think he's a great player. He is not going to be with us next season. Whether he kills it, Real Madrid's just going to take him back and play with him. Or he's terrible. Well, we don't want him to go back to Real Madrid. We don't want him. But he's obviously... I'm so sorry. I feel terrible. I want to start crying because I've mentioned him more than I want to, but yeah. So to me,
there's another side to this equation.
Oh God!
If you don't play him, if you just somebody said you have to start phasing him out. Grace Winder, We need to phase him out of the squad. You don't need to play with a number 6. Okay, so we
Talking
don't
about
play him.
Ceballos?
No, talking about Granit Xhaka.
Okay.
So we start to phase him out. He doesn't get a shirt, whatever the case may be. Now all of you Granit Xhaka haters want to sell him, and now you can't sell him because there's no body of work from this past season because he didn't play, and now you're pissed off that he didn't get sold.
There's
So you play him.
Work. He yells. He
from two former managers. No recent body of work if he doesn't play. It is a very good question though, because I'm not 100. I will say this: I'm not 100% sold on my answer because there's a voice in my head that's saying, "Are you out of your fucking mind? Let Danny Ceballos play in that role. Keep Thomas Partey back in front of the back line, and let Houssam Aouar run nuts and feed the ball through in the final third." All I'm going to say is this: good problem to have. Good problem to have.
What did Ryan say? I didn't even understand what he said.
So I had a diamond forward. I had Aouar up front, Partey in the back, and then I had Saka on the left, Aim in the right. That's not this season, obviously. We can't accomplish that this season because I do think Saka is being molded into a left midfielder, and I think AMN is going to excel for us as a right midfielder. And I don't want to put Ceballos in there because to me, like, it sucks because I do like Ceballos, but like, we're not going to have Ceballos next season, whether people love him, hate him, it doesn't matter. He's not going to be in our equation next season. So I'm trying to plan around it. But that's kind of what I would do. But if we're going to midfield 3, I mean, that's like again, you'd probably just keep rotating AMN and Saka out, I would think. And it's also just, to me, it depends what formations we play. And to your point, Tannor, about Xhaka not getting sold, he's a captain of Switzerland. He was a captain of Arsenal. That resume alone will get him sold, even if it's to Bayern Leverkusen for $10 million. We will, or euros.
And then the Xhaka haters will bitch because we only got $10 million for him.
Oh, I'll pay a little more time out. I will pay. Oh, listen, I consider myself a Xhaka hater. Time out now. I consider myself, shout out to you, Tony Turner. I used to be a Xhaka hater. Me and him used to be, oh yeah, Xhaka sucks. He has played better under Arteta. I will give him that. He's had some good games since. But I would pay clubs to take him. He's a headache I do not want at our club. I don't care how much Arteta likes him. He's a headache I do not want here. He was terrible against Liverpool. He's not someone that's long for this world. We need to get him out of here.
So here's where I'm going with this, right? This is where I've been kind of heading with this. And a couple of people in the chat box, one in particular that I want to give a little shout out before I forget because he's tuned in. And that's Thomas Morgan, who's watching us from Glasgow in Scotland, who I was talking to on Twitter today. And we were talking back and forth, and he asked me a couple of questions, and I said, "Tune in, and we're going to be discussing that." And he said that he's in Glasgow, but he says he's going to be sitting up tonight because he's got 2 weeks of isolation and got fuck all to do tomorrow. So he's set up in Glasgow in Scotland, tuning in. So thanks for that, mate. And it's good.
Drink with us.
Top man. But also, you see, I have to disagree with Sam. Sam's looking at a 3-4-3. I think as soon as we bring in those 2 midfielders, remember my question was who's going to be the 3 in midfield. As soon as we get them, we go to a back 4.
Yeah.
That for me, you know, I would put money on that. I'm not even a betting person, but I would.
So if that's the case, AMN plays right back, and then it's Saka or Aouar Partey. In my opinion,
sure. Over the last week, right, I've seen people putting up loads of, on Twitter, you put up your fantasy team, your starting 11 and the formation, and you're looking at, who the players in the transfer window that we linked with, and you put them in there. And I've seen so many people over the last 4 or 5 days putting up their ideal starting 11s and formations, and they all include Partey, they all include Thomas Aouar. And there's a lot of variations in the formations. Some have 3 at the back, some have 4 at the back. Some have Aubameyang playing through the middle instead of on the left. Some have this player in there and some have that player. But, the one thing that is always the same that I've noticed, not one of these people that have put up these formations and desired starting 11s, not one of them has Saka in the team.
I do.
Okay, not one of them. And I thought you was going along there a minute ago there, Ryan. And the only person that I've actually, London Lone Star. All right, mate. No, you know I'm not RuPaul. Don't start that. I get RuPaul. They call me RuPaul over on Claude's channel. It's a glasses thing apparently and a bald head thing. But I don't dress up in dresses either. Well, not on a podcast night. But
And not on Tuesdays.
not on a
Trust me,
Tuesday.
I know.
But I mean, you know, Saka, he was the guy that it was only so many months ago that we were all clamoring and bombarding Twitter because this was our generational talent, and we had to make sure that he was going to commit himself to Arsenal and extend his contract. And I've not seen him once appear in any of these lineups that people are putting out. Lonnie Spencer in the chat box, he said it straight there. He said, I'd have him in there. And that would be my 3 in midfield. I would have Aouar, and I would have Saka. For me, Saka, I'd like to see him playing somewhere in the middle. Because when I look at him, I don't know why, and I don't like to compare players so much, but he really reminds me of Clarence Seedorf. The build, the way that he can move the ball around. He ain't the sort of guy that's going to get knocked off the ball. He's got a great range of passing. He's got a hell of a shot from him with inside the box or outside the box, and he can create. So if we go back to my original question, talking about if we can only have one, then for me, it has to be Partey, because I could see a trio in the midfield of Partey, Ceballos, and Saka. Even take Ceballos and exchange him with El Neni. Exchange El Neni for Xhaka. But every time for me, Saka is in there. So the reason I asked that question when we went around and you all told me your variations and who you would want over the other, no one said Saka. So what is it that, what, you know, when I
did.
You went there and then you kind of veered off.
Well, all right, fair.
Well,
I veer off regardless. That's not fair.
So do you know what this
I always veer
all
off.
hinges on?
when I put it out on Twitter, I put on Twitter, this is what I put out. Seen a lot of people putting desired first teams, all including Aouar and Partey, with a variety of formations. The one thing they all have in common, Saka is missing from all of them. You remember Saka? He's that generation talent that we begged to resign of us. And Dan Hill, he came in with a brilliant comment. He said, because deep down, everyone knows he's nothing more than a squad player. Discuss.
No. That's not true. I mean, so I'm a big Saka fan, but the fact of the matter is that I don't want to place him in a position that he has not played as much. And when I say my starting lineup, then I mean that these players are going to play out of 60 games, they're going to play 40 games. And I don't think Saka is in a position right now, or I don't want him to be in a position right now where he should play 40 games in a season. We need to test him out. You know, he's played last season, breakout season. Most of it he played from left back. You know, he's not played his preferred position. So many times he's been shoved to the right. You know, he's played a handful of games in midfield or on the left side. I want to see more of that. There's going to be plenty of games and you keep seeing Saka around. So I do not take this that he is a squad player or in my mind he is not good enough. I definitely think that he's good enough, but I don't want to put that pressure on him that he should be that good enough today.
Rohan, in your eyes, do you see him as a squad player or as a first start in the first 11?
As of this season, I see him more coming in, dropping in and out of the team. So in the odd games he's going to play. In some games he's not going to play. He's going to miss out. There are some players that you know are going to play, right? Like who are the mainstays in the team? I would say that it's Leno, it's Tierney, it's Aubameyang, it's players like these are the mainstays in the team. Everybody else sort of comes in and goes out, and that's the phase at which we had said this on multiple podcasts last season, that the ideal situation should have been that Saka should have got 30 games, Martinelli should have got 30 games on the left hand side, and both of them rotate.
When you've got like a young player and you want him to resign and you're courting him, and he got a lot of, as we were leading up to him signing his new contract, he got a lot of minutes. And for me, a lot of the places that he got played probably is not his real position. And it looked like it was to get him on the pitch. And then we give him a number 7 as his squad number, which for me indicates that if you get a number like number 7, you're a main part of the team. And then he put pen to paper, and then he's been used really sparingly and bit party. Do you think there was a ploy to get him to sign by giving him all of these minutes and the number 7? And now that he's committed, he's not really in the manager's main eye. Because for me, he should be getting in the team ahead of Willian. Do you know what I mean? If you're not playing, for me, if you're not going to play Pepe on the right and you're going to put Willian in there, if you're not going to play Pepe on the right, for me, you got to play fucking Saka on the right.
Why?
Yeah,
generational talent. He's a bright spark. He makes things happen, and I want to look at it in a way that, remember when Rooney emerged at Man U when he was 16? Sorry, at Everton when he was 16. He's one of them. You know what I mean? He's young. He's got a couple more years on Rooney, but I always think that it doesn't matter about age. If you're good enough, you're fucking good enough. It doesn't matter if you're 16, 21, 28.
So here's my take on it. This is what Arteta is trying to do, and what he's trying to accomplish here is building for long-term success. It isn't just what he's doing this year is building for Champions League. All of the eggs are going to be put into the Europa League and Premier League basket to make sure that we qualify for Champions League. Next year and the year after, I think we're really going to start to see what really is in Mikel Arteta's head for the long term. So Willian was brought in my opinion, to sort of stabilize the ship right now. Is Bukayo Saka a player that you are willing right now to rely on 35 times in the Premier League? Are you willing to run him out there 30 to 35 times in the Premier League? I would say no. So I'll say this was in my head as you guys were talking. Go back and look again at Manchester City when Mikel Arteta was under Pep, and look at that team. What he's trying to do right now is basically put together a squad of players that, not talent-wise, but in terms of their playing time, he's building a team full of squad players. Not talent, playing time. Everyone is going to be a squad player with the rare exception of 5 or 6 players. Your goalkeeper will be one of those. Bernd Leno is always going to be the first name on the team sheet in the league in big matches. Aubameyang, as long as he's here, is going to be one of the first names on that sheet. You can go down the list. There might be 2, 3, 4 more, but the big picture is going to be, this is going to be a squad full of players who, at the end of the day, might play 50 to 60% of the time. Like I say, with the exception of the top dogs that are going to get into the important games every single time. So to me, it's the long-term project that he's looking for.
Then I have to come back at that and say, then why are we not playing in a formation now?
Because he doesn't have.
Hold on, a formation that 4 at the back, and in that midfield as the third midfielder, because we're playing 3 at the back, 5 at the back with 2 in midfield. We play 4 at the back, and the third midfielder could be one of Saka or Willian or Willock, even. Yeah, and that way then we have Pepe playing on the right, which is what we bought him for, which is his position. Aubameyang's playing on the left. We've got Lacazette playing through the middle, but we have 4 at the back, and we can put. We said I was under the impression that we bought Willian to be creative. Yet all of a sudden now he's keeping our most expensive, our record signing out of the team and playing on the right-hand side. Why can't we have 3 in the midfield? I'll repeat it. And one of those, the third person could be one of Saka, Willian, or Willock.
So
obviously we're not going to be using Ozil or Guendouzi. They're out of the picture. Why can't we do that?
So right now,
the team starts to gradually bed into this 4 at the back that we all know that we're going to go to.
But at the same time, he doesn't have the luxury of allowing the players to bed into the formation. He has to win games. He has to win games. So right now he's going to play a formation that he looks at the players that he's going to put in and say, okay, this is the formation that's going to suit the players that I have the best. Remember, Pepe wasn't his signing. I don't think he's very high on Nicolas Pepe. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised to see us try to sell him next year. And don't be surprised if we only get 40 million for him. That's another show for another day.
We would have moved Willian into the middle, and he said in his interviews that, I like him as a number 10. I like him playing in the middle, but he's just taking up the berth on the right-hand side now.
But he's not convinced. But see, he's not convinced of the back 4 right now. He's not convinced that he has the players to play the back 4 as opposed to the back 3. So he's playing the back 3 to cover Rob Holding, to cover David Luiz. That's why he's playing the back 3. So he has no choice in playing the back 3. You have to take a position off the field. So it ends up what you end up sacrificing right now is the midfield. And one other caveat to all of this is in terms of Saka getting in and getting more game time, to a degree, I think this all sort of hinges on Aubameyang moving from the left and playing through the middle.
Not going to happen.
Lacazette isn't going anywhere this year. He might next year. If that happens, that's where Saka's going to get his chance on the left wing. I
agree with you.
I'm 100% with Saka on the left wing.
It's got to be experimented with just to get a couple more people in the team.
And the fact is, when you look at all of these options that we have, and if we get both Partey and Aouar Jesus, Christ Almighty, look at the midfield. We go from a year ago at this point talking about, things fall our way. We can get top 4, but there's going to have to be a little bit of luck played in that. And we had a small squad when you think about it. To all of a sudden now it's like, my God, there's just not enough room for all these guys. Where are they going to play? You know what I mean?
So I have a question for all 3 of you. Why haven't we tried Aubameyang through the middle?
Because, so again, it goes back to, I made a point in a previous show that you take Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Bukayo Saka, and you say, who are the 2 best players of those 3? And it's Aubameyang number 1, and it's Lacazette number 2. Aubameyang is better than Bukayo Saka on the left. Aubameyang is better than Lacazette through the middle. So Aubameyang is going to play. So Saka is going to be the odd man out because Lacazette's better than Bukayo Saka, if that all made sense.
That's not what I asked. I asked why.
Why isn't he playing through the middle?
No, I asked why haven't we experimented it? I'm asking why it's not happening. Because
Mikel Arteta does not have the luxury of experimenting with things that he's not 100% certain will work. He has. It's a very fine line that he has to win games.
Why?
Play in a cup game then.
Why?
Why does he have to win games? You play to win the game.
No, we're in a rebuilding period. We do not have to win the game. We need to.
Exactly.
No. Are you kidding me? So if we don't finish top 4 because he was experimenting.
If you're rebuilding, you're going to have to take a couple of forward steps. Maybe they turn out to be wrong.
Will this fan base and this board allow for that to happen?
Well, time out. Who is paying Arteta's wage? Is it the fan base? Are we paying Arteta, telling him what to do?
He's a manager now. He's not a head coach anymore. He's a manager.
No, what do you mean?
Now.
Not. No.
He's got leeway. I totally agree with Ryan. A fucking
Okay.
again. I don't know how this.
So we experiment. We lose, and we finish 10th. And you're going to look back, and I guarantee it. Guarantee
You know
you're going to
what?
look.
You
You
know
look
what?
back on it, you go, Arteta never should have fucking experimented with the squad. We needed to finish top 4. He experimented with the squad. We lost games that we should have won if he'd have played his best 11, and here we are. I guarantee it.
Look at the game, for example, right? You look at the calendar, right? You see West Bromwich Albion or Fulham's coming up on the fixture, and you think to yourself, you know what? I should have enough about this team that I can change it around a little bit and still get a fucking result.
So I think I sort of have an answer for this, Dan. First of all, why haven't we tried Aubameyang through the middle? I mean, it's not an experiment. I think it's a sure shot success. He will get us 30 goals if he plays through the middle, right? I don't want, I don't have any issue in that. Yeah, damn right it is. I don't have any confusion. I don't have any illusion that it's not going to work out. It's going to be great if we play Aubameyang through the middle. But I'm not the manager. I don't decide. I have been blowing that horn for the past year, saying that Aubameyang should be through the middle and somebody else should be playing left. Okay, but the reason why I think that is not happening is because of the fact that Lacazette does a lot of dirty work for the team, and that's not something Aubameyang is very good at, or may not be able to do as much if you want 100% from him, especially because if Aubameyang goes through the middle and starts dropping in, nobody on the left is going to be able to score as many goals as Aubameyang does. So Saka, for as good as a player he is, he would not score 22 goals in the Premier League. That is what Aubameyang is doing. So the issue was, in this whole situation, we didn't have a midfield. Well, we didn't have a solid defense, so we had to put 3 men in defense. We didn't have a midfield, so Lacazette had to drop in. Lacazette had to play there because Aubameyang, if he played there, then nobody from the left would have scored. Aubameyang was the only guy who was scoring there. So you can't put Saka in there and expect him to score. But what I would love to see is that once we get all of these targets, once we have our Partey, all of these guys, then if I was given the opportunity, I would have moved then Aubameyang through the middle, where he doesn't need to drop until the halfway line. He maybe has to drop in a little bit. And, again, maybe he needs to, learn some more build-up play, which Lacazette is good at. But, Aubameyang, I'm sure he can learn. But he won't have to do that as much because we will start controlling the midfield. Once we start controlling the midfield, he can play through the middle. Saka/Martinelli can go on the left. But right now, why have we not tried it? Is because we don't have control of the midfield and we need somebody to do that dirty work.
Okay, let me put it to you this way then, right? Let's say we're playing the game, we start the game, Lacazette's playing for the middle, Aubameyang's on the left, Willian's on the right-hand side. Yeah, we're getting onto the 55th minute, 60th minute, things aren't going too well our way. Tell me what the harm is, especially if you've got one of those games where Lacazette can't fucking hit a fucking donkey's ass with a banjo, right? Why are we not taking off Lacazette, moving Aubameyang into the middle where he will get on the end of those shots, and not, for example, putting Saka on the left, or moving Willian over to the left and bringing on Pepe on the right? Why does that never happen? Why is it always the case of we leave Aubameyang on the left and he's hardly had any fucking touches during the game, and we just take off Lacazette and bring on Eddie? Sometimes I don't think that is the answer. I thought that Saka was the one that we're looking towards the future. He'll stay on the bench and we'll bring on Eddie or even Pepe. Why can't we sometimes in the middle of a game, and you say about experimenting, Tannor, why should we experiment? But if we're going through 90 minutes and it's not happening for us, why can't we take Laka out, hook him, move Aubameyang central, and now we've got options now. If Willian's on, we can move him to the left to accommodate Pepe, or we can hook Pepe. Willian for Pepe. Put Saka on the left. There is options. There are options, but we don't do it. We stick to the same tune.
Yeah. I mean, in the breakdown video that Adrian Clark had done, which is a brilliant video with Aubameyang, he showed how Aubameyang is more effective from the left. I have always said that he is a goal scorer. You play him at left back, he would still score you like 15, 20 goals, right? Like that is the sort of guy that he is. I do not have the answer as to why we have not changed the formation and got him through the middle. In fact, in last season, I remember there was a game, I think it was the Leicester game. It was the Leicester game in which Eddie got a red card and Joe Willock came on, and in that last 5 minutes, Joe Willock was playing through the middle. Aubameyang was still on the left. I have no idea why that is happening. I don't have a clue as to why. Maybe that's something that I my understanding of football is only that much, or that's the only statistics that I have, or my love for Aubameyang is so has clouded me so much that I think that he can play anywhere. But I agree with you. I mean, I think that he could play through the middle. Like the other day against Liverpool itself, when Lacazette was missing those chances, at that point we needed that guy on the through the middle. I would have moved Aubameyang through the middle. Like, the amount of work that he has to do on the left hand side, and he does it. The fact is that he does it. He's playing 1-2s with our centre backs. He's doing all of that work. He's a 31-year-old. You put him through the middle. I have no idea why we don't do that, in all honesty. But the reason why generally he doesn't start in that position is because we are compensating for other positions. That's why he doesn't start there.
But our midfield sucks regardless. So like what? Yeah.
Don't make it suck more.
But let me preface this. I agree with Rohan and Tannor. I think you gave great points, and I don't disagree with you at all. But my question still stands. Why haven't we tried it? I'm not saying, hey, Aubameyang's playing through the middle for the rest of the Premier League season. I'm not saying that. Yeah. Like Stan said,
we're all right.
But that's not the point. I like I said, I understand what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. But still, 1 game, 2 games. I'm not saying let's just fucking let's wing it. Let's just do it for the rest of the season. No, I'm saying
I understand what happened. Stan, you guys both, and Stan, you said West Brom. And Ryan, you said somebody, and I missed who it was.
I said West Brom and Fulham.
Yeah, we both did.
I thought, okay. So you say in those games, why not try it? Well, I'll give you one word.
Oh, God.
Here we go.
Brighton.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say Brighton. I nearly said it. Yeah.
And I don't. And let me also say that I don't disagree with what you guys are saying. But understand that it is a result. We are in a results-driven business, and he has to win games. He cannot take the chance.
Hold on, no. But then Brighton is a game that if we started in the way that we normally start, what I'm saying is, and during a Brighton game against Brighton, Lacazette's having a poor game. We're 1 goal behind. They're firing more shots on. Hook him. Yeah, Aubameyang central.
I agree. I agree 110%. I agree with it 110%.
Brighton
on the left, hook Lacazette and put on Eddie, who struggled as a loanee at Leeds. As much as I do like Eddie, he's not the answer. He isn't the answer. He's a backup.
Go ahead, Rowan.
Brighton has me scared shitless, man. Like that is the game that I fear the most. Like only the luchador can beat Brighton.
We need the luchador for Brighton. Absolutely. So I don't know if any of you guys know him. If you're in, yeah, they did. That's an absolute travesty that they lost that game. Anyway, this is great. We're at an hour and 53 minutes here, fellas. You want to keep going? I get. You know what?
I want to say something, Tannor, to everyone in the comments. it was our guy Tanner's birthday. Why can't I get it right? Birthday on Saturday. Everybody wish the Bearded Gooner a happy birthday. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Great stuff there. Match reactions. Come on there. Give your reactions. Nobody else is giving you a platform. I know you guys have a lot to say. Come on. Happy birthday, Tannor. And
well done, mate. So just while we're there, Tannor, did you do anything on your day? Did anything go down?
We've
presents.
No present. Well, there is a present on the way. It was
a boy or a girl?
What'd you say?
Is it a boy or a girl?
Yes. Oh, that's awful. I shouldn't have said that. The present's on the way. We went out to dinner.
It was a nice dinner.
It was a lovely dinner.
Ryan
cooked. Ryan cooked and with an apron on and nothing else. He wore an apron and a smile.
That's how I do.
Megan and I sat on the couch and pointed and laughed at him.
Listen.
Because he actually put the apron on backwards.
I did. Fair. I did.
It was a good day. I couldn't have really asked for anything more. Dogs and I did, as I like to call it, dad and dog stuff. We went out to the park and did that. Nicole was up. Tony just said, "God damn it, Tony! Like, why did I have to look at the comments?" Hang on, I gotta put it up on the screen. Tony, well done, man.
It's new and not secondhand. It's all good.
Yeah. But no, it was a good day. Like I said, I spent the day with the dogs, and we went out to dinner later. Then later on in the night, got to hang out with some friends later in the night. Did a little drinking, and yeah. Overall was a good day, and thank you guys, and appreciate everybody over in the comments. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate that.
But we'll appreciate it even more. Like, we have 1,200 to 1,500 to 2,000 viewers for this, and we're not seeing subscribers on Tannor's channel. We want it. The Bearded Gooner, get that subscribe button on.
Yes.
Otherwise, the Luchador is coming for you next.
Yeah, come for you,
Yeah.
Real question,
I don't know him, but I'm pretty sure he's on my side. So the Arsenal knock birthday present is Kolasinac leaving. There it is. That's the one that's coming in the mail. Absolutely.
Just while we're talking about Kolasinac, could you hear the news that apparently we've there's
Leverkusen 11 million plus add-ons from
10 million
plus
fucking add-ons?
Yeah.
Whoever brokered that deal needs a pay rise.
Oh, absolutely.
Vinay, well done, son.
I put out a comment for you guys in the chat box. All right, to my esteemed co-hosts, do you guys want to keep going?
Yeah.
Do the folks in the comments want us to keep going? Are you guys up for a little bit longer, or should we wrap it up? I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
I'm just looking at Mrs. Stan's face off of camera. She's like, "Do you want to keep it going?" She's like, "No, we're good.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm not going to bring that up on air.
What am I going to do? Switch off and go and listen to the fucking presidential debate?
I think they're done. I think so. Yeah.
They were like, we got to tune into the same old Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. Trump and Biden were like, that's enough of this shit. We need to go listen to a real debate.
Yeah, they wrapped up quickly so they could come and listen to this shit. That's how it rolls.
Exactly. I would say that's what elites do, but neither of those two idiots is elite.
So look, I mean, just while we're talking, I mean, we've got like 5 days now until the window closes, and I do think that this is probably one of our most important transfer windows. And it's weird because I've probably said that for the last 2, maybe 3 windows. But you think for the last 2 or 3 windows, we've either been changing manager, or we've had a manager that's fucking not doing too well. You know, there's been a bit of a headache, but this is an important window. And how confident is everybody on the panel and in the chat box that there is going to be another incoming? Because I tell you what I'm looking at, right? All last week it was Arsenal agree terms with Aouar, the player. And I was under the impression that you couldn't agree terms with a player unless you've done stuff with the club first. Maybe it does happen. But now this week, or in the last couple of days, I'm seeing that we've made an improved offer now to Lyon that they've accepted, and now we only have to make terms with the player. You see what I'm getting at? Last week, we made terms with the player. It was the club that we had to get a fee with. This week, we brokered the fee. Now we've got to get terms with the player. What do you actually think is going to happen? How confident is everyone that we're going to get what we need, half of what we need, or are we going to be left scratching our heads and someone like maybe Diawara or Janino from Chelsea turns up?
So what do you want to do? I was just going to say, what do we want to do this on a scale? Mike Hers, 10 out of 10.
I feel pretty confident, actually. I mean, even Arteta's post-match interview that he had, he's acknowledged the fact that we are not, in terms of quality, we are not there. So he has acknowledged that, which means that he needs to make it better. And he did not indicate that there was no incoming, although he did not go into specifics of players. But I think that our seems like it is happening. And the fact that Fabrizio Romano already tweeted, I mean, he's the most trustworthy source at the moment, right? He tweeted that Torreira is going to Atletico, may signal that Partey is coming. I don't know. I'm just an eternal optimist when it comes to Arsenal. That's why I tune in every week. I tuned in to every match last season, and I'm going to keep doing that. And that's because I always trust that the Arsenal is going to do the right thing, which is get these players because we lack them, and so I'm feeling confident. I feel like a 9 on 10 that we're going to get both of them.
Hold on, we got a super chat here, and I'm just going to read it out as Tanner's not here. Thank you very much to TD Shifts for your super chat, and he says this debate was fiery, and I personally 100% on Aouar and Partey coming, and I hear what Stan and Ryan was saying, but I'm sorry, but I don't agree with this one. Auba's best position is on the left, not down the middle. There's no time to be experimenting, and you do make a good point. Because I am also of the adage of if it isn't broke, don't fix it. Do you know what I mean? But I do think sometimes that during a 90-minute period, if things aren't working out well, that there is. I think that we should at least try. Okay, this isn't working out well. Let's take off Laka. Let's put Auba on through the middle, and then let's change whoever's on the left and the right. It's just a thought, but mate, as well. Thank you very much, TD Shifts, for the super chat.
I mean, yeah, you hit it right on. And also, I kind of want to say this when we were talking about our party. I wouldn't be upset if we signed Aouar and maybe Sakamore. That's something.
Sakamore.
Yeah, Sakamore. I'm actually a big fan of his. I think.
Did you see today that Sangare, he went to PSV for a measly 8 million?
Yeah.
A measly £8 million.
Yeah.
So deals are being done, right? And good deals as well. I mean, that's a good deal. 8 million for Stumare.
I think
the prospect.
I want Aouar. I will say that just because of where we are as a club right now. But I also think that there's other options for us other than Partey. I really do. And if Atletico want to be, stomping their feet and holding out, it's cool. We'll sign somebody for cheaper that can get the job done. And I think Sakamore could do that for us. So
I think ultimately both deals get done.
Really?
And I do. If the rumors of the outgoing transfers are true, Torreira is going to be a make weight in the Thomas Partey deal, and I think that's a deal I think that'll be done on deadline day. I think it'll be announced. Yeah, and I mean,
how the fuck can we be doing a deal with Atleti involving one of our players, and we don't get the guy that we've been fucking?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Right.
How does it happen without Twitter going into meltdown? Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly. TD Shifts. So we're working on a little bit of merchandise, and TD, I do want to caution you again. This is not my channel. It's not my show. So this stuff does have to be run by the Vince McMahon of our channel, Craig. So I appreciate all the effort that you're putting in, man. And as long as it's approved by the big dog, we'll go ahead and we'll move forward with this. But just keep that in the back of your mind for me. And thank you very much for the kind donation. We certainly appreciate that here. So
I love free shit.
Yeah, right. Now I really do think that both are going to get done. Torreira is going to be the make weight for Thomas Partey. And I am going to go out on a limb a little bit and say that there might actually be one more surprise on deadline day. I just have a feeling there's going to be one other move made. I don't think at this point that it's going to be Zaha, but I think there's something else that they're working on. It literally is a gut feeling. I couldn't give you a name. I couldn't even give you a position.
Do you think it's a possibility of, as an outside fucking shot here, Lacazette going and maybe someone like Edouard coming in? No, not like that. No.
Now, I'll be honest with you. If I had to,
Zaha, really?
I would love it to be. I would absolutely love for this to be Wilfried Zaha. I just don't think it's going to happen. Now he's played himself. He's played himself into form. He's played himself much more expensive now. So I just don't think it's going to be him. I think it'll be a defender. If there's a shock, if there's a surprise on deadline day, I think it's going to be a defender.
Doesn't that Zaha make us a little bit cluttered?
Yeah,
in certain positions.
Yep.
Really?
But again, and we've talked about this before.
Remember, I was just saying about Saka. That puts him fucking even further down. Surely,
yep. I really think that Mikel Arteta. I said it last week. I screw winning the Premier League or winning Champions League. I think he's after world football domination. I think he wants to take this team and go play in the World Cup. I think if he could take this team to the moon
and easy, calm down.
I think if he could take this team to the moon and win a league on the moon, I think he would try to do it. So
he's not going to do it to Granit Xhaka, but that's another story.
I mean it. I'm serious. That's what I think. I think he's looking at it. Look at what Manchester City have done with him under Pep. Look at the players that they brought in, and you just say to yourself, I remember when they brought in Riyad Mahrez, and I'm like, where's he going to play? Like, what on earth are you doing? Now all of a sudden you've taken what's your best 11 at this point?
Yeah, but Manchester City, I agree with what you're saying about Mahrez to City, but they've now got into that place where they can afford to have embarrassment of riches.
Well, right. Yeah.
And that's the reason why we had to make a decision between selling one of our goalkeepers. Otherwise, we would have kept them both and let them fucking fight it out. We can't afford to do that. We needed the dough to, commit to commit surgery on places in the squad that needed the surgery.
Right.
I think if we were in Champions League, I would say, we need an embarrassment of riches, but we're not.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
The only thing I said about the Zaha thing, and I don't want to spend a whole lot more time on this because like I said, I don't think it's going to happen. TD, real quick, I'll pull this back up again. We did talk about the red card. We didn't touch much on the handball with Diogo Jota's goal. Who knows at this point?
I touched on it a little bit.
We touched on it a little bit. Yeah, we didn't touch on it much, but. I mean, I don't even know what handball is at this point. If the ball hits off my ass cheek, is it handball? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think any of us do. But thank you.
At a player, if you literally blast a ball at the player and he ain't got time to move when it hits him, is that a handball?
That's what the rule is actually stating now.
Now handball is super diluted. Like I had tweeted that it's the handball rule is the 2020 of football rules. Now there's no question of intent there. Now there's no question of intent. Now you can literally smash the ball into the other player's hands and they have to jump like a salmon. They have to jump like a salmon. Otherwise, it's going to be, God forbid that they try to maintain their balance because,
Remember when you used to have that differentiation between handball and ball to hand?
Ball to hand, correct.
Yeah.
Earlier, if you weren't facing the ball, if you had earlier, it was solid because your hand is in an unnatural position. That is what it was, and it was straight. But in any case, I mean that rule is shit. That rule needs to go, and we don't need to subsist with it. Otherwise, there's going to be like 50 million goals happening this season.
Well, this is Tony. Tony brings up a good point, because apparently there was a meeting of the teams in the Premier League today, I believe, and they have already discussed basically sort of leaving the handball up to the referee's discretion now.
It shouldn't be. That means that in the same game week, one penalty is going to be given, one is not. We had a standard there, which was that if it was in an unnatural position, then it'll be a penalty. If it was an intentional handball, which was to stop the goal, it was a red card. That is what it was. You just play with that. But in any case, I don't think TD Shift's handball discussion was that handball. It was the Jota handball, which seemed like a handball. I don't know what it was. I tweeted after the game that I waited at least 45 minutes after the game. At least NBC did not show a replay of it. They did not show it during the game. During the game, they showed it once, but it was in real time, so you couldn't tell it. And then after the game, they didn't analyze it. And I remember last season there was this one incident in which a player had fallen down, and the defender had fallen down, and it was the attacker who had fallen down. The ball hit him and went ahead, and they gave that offside because his hand was somehow involved in the build-up to the goal, which it wasn't. Here, if it did hit his hand, he sort of controlled it with his hand, and it doesn't matter. The rule now says that if it hits your hand intentionally or not, it shouldn't be a goal. To me, I have seen stills. It looks like it hit his hand. It felt like it when I saw it real time, but I don't know enough because NBC didn't show it. Apparently, Sky Sports showed it 4 times. I don't know.
Honestly, I do not care. To Insurance Basket's point, it wasn't a handball. We can't fix it. You're right, we can't fix it. To say it wasn't a handball, so then the Tottenham handball wasn't a handball too, but they got awarded the handball. So again, I don't even care what the rule is. I don't care letter of the law. I don't care about any of that. I just want consistency. That's all I want. That's all I care about. If Tottenham was a handball, then the Liverpool was definitely a handball. If the Tottenham wasn't a handball and ours was, it doesn't matter. I don't want to just harp on words and letters and what's a handball, what's not a handball. It doesn't matter. All I want is consistency throughout the league. Whether it's the right call or the wrong call, it doesn't matter. I want it the same throughout. So I agree with Lone Star. I do, and it's pathetic, and I don't agree with it. I think we need to have some kind of consistent justification for the handball. And I always thought I knew, but apparently I don't, because of like I said, the Tottenham handball and then the Liverpool handball. So again, it's just I just want consistency. I don't care if it's right or wrong.
That's it. That's all we can ask for in the world of sports and officiating is just consistency. Just call it the same way for both teams, and try to call it the same way throughout the course of the season. With these rules, with handball, just be consistent with it. And for the love of God, you have a monitor on the side of the pitch for VAR. Tell the on-field official to go check it, for crying out loud. So a little bit off the topic. Sam, I don't know if you're still with us in the chat. If you are, I don't know if I can scroll all the way back up to your comment, but you had mentioned earlier about things from American sports that you would like to see. I'm curious, what do you guys think as my co-host here? What do you think if we were to do a show sort of centering around things in American sports that don't exist in the Premier League that we'd like to see, and maybe vice versa, things that exist in the Premier League that don't exist in American sports or whatever? I mean, we are in an North American show. Is there any interest in doing something like that for you guys in the comments? Would you have any interest in us bringing just one show, but bringing in a more American sports topic to one show and sort of comparing the two? I don't know. What do you guys think? Just
Well, I don't listen. I don't know too much about North American sports, being fairly new here. But I'm open to. No, I mean, that something might come up when I might think that's all right. But I mean, if you're going to start trying to convince me that we should be playing the game in quarters, then it's not happening.
No. Nothing. Honest to God, it would probably be more
or picking the ball up and running along with it whilst wearing a crash helmet. No.
yeah, right. So three of you, very funny. More cheerleaders, please. So but hang on. Only Lone Star Londoner clarified more hot cheerleaders, please. That's the key. That's the key. They so I kind of feel like we could do this all night, but we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes, and might be time to call it, and we just basically get out of here.
One last question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Question. My next opponent is Liverpool at Anfield on Thursday. Can we beat them?
Yeah. I think you're going to see a much different game. I think you're going to see a much different game. I think you're going to get the two JV squads on Thursday night.
For me, it's a shame that we're playing them so close. It'd be nice to, go into a different game and maybe be able to come out of the next game with a win before we have to face Liverpool again. But, it's funny because I was sitting here laughing at Chelsea going out of the cup, and I sort of thought to myself, well, I suppose I can only laugh for a couple of days, so should I shut up or keep laughing? And I thought, fuck it, I'm going to keep laughing.
Keep laughing, mate.
That's how I live my life. But, we have to play him again on Thursday. I think it's a bit of a shame, but it would be good to see if both of us can put out a rotated squad, how that goes. Whether we put out a rotated squad and they put in a strong squad, so... It is what it is, but it's another game of football that I get to watch the Arsenal play, so I'll take that.
Yeah. Ryan?
I mean, I'm excited. I have to for my Arsbro show. I got to talk about it, review it. I don't know if we're gonna see a 6-5 or a 5-5 penalty shootout, but it'll definitely be a different game. I don't. Again, back to what Tannor was saying, I don't expect to win, but I think we have a better chance at winning, and I think the team's going to be more up for it. We beat them twice, and I think the players themselves that played that game the other day or yesterday, I think that they thought they got manhandled a little bit, and I think that they felt a little disrespected. They lost 3-1. They had chances. They weren't. I don't want to say they were never in the game, but Liverpool kind of handled us with a little more ease, and I think they're gonna want to get this back. And especially with Tottenham advancing, I think we have a little more of a reason to fight on to see another day in the Carabao Cup.
Got it.
All right.
So if this was anything to go by, in the next show that we do next Tuesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, there's going to be the Liverpool game, there's going to be the Sheffield game, there's going to be transfer deadline that has been completed.
So there's a lot to go
5 hours.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot next week. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, we've got a lot. We're going to have a lot to talk about next Tuesday. The Arsenal knock, yes, that is a beagle. I have 3 of them. Boys, that's it. I'll tell you what, you guys go ahead and sign off here. Actually, you can't. I'm the one that has to end it, so never mind. Yeah, I'm all right. That's it for us, guys. Please drop a like or a thumbs down if you didn't like all the banter that we had tonight, although I thought it was great. Absolutely love these guys. Thanks to the 3 of you for doing this as always. Yeah, Sam, next Tuesday will be 5 hours from now. Yeah, it feels like.
Don't spoil it, Sam. Jeez.
Yeah.
You think them Avengers films are long? You wait till next week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at right now. We're creeping up on Lord of the Rings territory. But yeah, so we'll be back. We'll be back next Tuesday. Please, if you're so inclined, as Rohan so kindly said earlier, if you would please go check out my YouTube channel, putting up more content there every week. I'm going to be doing a pseudo live. It's not really going to be a watch along. It's just going to be a transfer deadline day special. Not sure on the hours of that yet. It ends at 5. The window shuts at 5 p.m. Eastern time here in the States. So I'm going to do probably 3 or 4 hours. Basically, it's just going to be hanging out, talking about transfers and the things that get done in the transfer window. We'll recap, the Willian deal and the Gabrielle deal, things like that. So we'll see who joins me. Just, talk about that stuff. And that's about it. That's all we got for you. Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. To anybody who watches on replay, thank you guys very much. Special shout out to TD Shifts. Thank you for all the kind donations, man. Really appreciate that. Lone Star Londoner, the channel name, the Bearded Gooner. Just search Bearded Gooner on YouTube, and it should come right up. Anybody that gives me a subscription, thank you guys very much. Really appreciate that. So, anybody else? Final words?
Up the Arsenal.
The Arsenal. And tune into, if you guys aren't fucking completely asleep.
You said no, and then you're just like blabbering.
Of course, that's what he does, man. That's what he does.
Listen, I gotta promote the Ars Bros. We're gonna be going live in actually 7 hours from this very moment. We're going live in 7 hours. So I gotta go to sleep.
I have a call to take in 2 minutes. Come on.
All right. Well, I gotta go to sleep. I gotta wake up and drink more after what I've already drank. So it's gonna be fun. Everybody tune in. And again, it's like my OnlyFans page. So it's gonna get a lot more dirtier, more filthy, and it's gonna be a good time.
Fire up my other computer. Like,
right. Yeah.
No other option.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Good footy talk. We'll see you out there.